Here's how moving can affect your ability to practice as a nurse. You're working in one state under a multi state license through the Nurse Licensure Compact, and you move to another state that is also under the same Nurse Licensure Compact. Both states are multi state licensed entities and they're under the same umbrella of the Nurse Licensure Compact. You assume that you don't have to seek licensure by endorsement in the new state where you move to, so you go ahead and you establish permanent residency. So I'm good, right? I don't have to do any licensure by endorsement. I'm fine. I moved there. They're all under the same umbrella, so I'm good. We're going to answer that question and then get into a lot more details about things that you need to know regarding the Nurse Licensure Compact in this video. So let's go ahead and get in the meat and potatoes of that ridiculously easy question, right? It's not that easy, and unfortunately, it's not that simple, because at the end of the day, you move to the new state, you have 60 days to get licensure by endorsement in the new state. I'm going to use what happened to a client of mine as an example. We had a client in Tennessee. This was a while back. They moved to North Carolina from Tennessee. Both states are part of the Nurse Licensure Compact. They had a multi-state license in Tennessee. They moved to North Carolina. They didn't know at the time that they had to get licensure by endorsement in North Carolina within a specified time frame. They didn't do so. Tennessee found out that they were no longer a resident in Tennessee because they did change the address so they can get updated information from the Tennessee Board of Nursing. Tennessee sees the change of address. They go ahead and drop that license. North Carolina is now supposed to be the home state, and residency has been established as a permanent resident at that point for this particular client. But the client never applied for licensure by endorsement in North Carolina in that particular example. Unfortunately, they were practicing without a license until they found out, oh no, I don't have a license. My one for Tennessee, that was my multi-state that allowed me to work in every other compact state. That ended up going away as soon as I established residency in a new state, being North Carolina. I never applied for licensure by endorsement in North Carolina. Therefore, I don't have a license here. Wow, I really didn't understand exactly what was going on. So let's unpack a couple things here. You move from, let's use that example again, Tennessee. You move to another state that's part of the same compact. Again, North Carolina. As of January of 2024, you have 60 days. It used to be 30 back in 2023 and prior to that. It used to be 30 days. Now it's 60 days from when you move and establish residency in the new state to get licensure by endorsement in the new state. So let's look at what is a permanent residency status. It's not just getting property in a new state. That doesn't qualify as a permanent residency. It's more of changing your driver's license or filing taxes as a resident of a new state. Those are examples of you changing your residency status to a permanent resident of a different state. So going back again to our Tennessee and North Carolina example, you're living in the Great Smoky Mountains. You decide you want to go and get a job at the beach. So you get a job lined up somewhere at the beach of North Carolina. You move there. You are required from when you establish new residency in North Carolina. So you go get a driver's license, you change your residency status with the IRS. You do all those great things. So when the minute you do that, that clock starts clicking. When you got 1 day, 2 day, you've all the way to 60 days to get that licensure by endorsement. Now it should be, although I'm not 100% sure, but it should be on every nursing board's website that is part of the Nurse Licensure Compact. They have a change of residency form that you fill out and you submit that when you complete your licensure by endorsement. So you want to make sure you look and find that specific form on whatever state you're moving to, and then also do your licensure by endorsement. As soon as you have a job lined up, go ahead and start that process. So when you get your residency established in the new state, that it will help be a smoother process so you can hopefully get licensed sooner rather than later, but definitely sooner before the 60 days are up. that you're required to be licensed by endorsement in the new state where you move to. So going back to my previous example where somebody has worked in a state where they didn't do the licensure by endorsement because frankly, they didn't know. They just assumed multi-state, hey, I'm licensed all over all these compact states. I don't have to really change anything. It happens way often than you think, but if you are practicing in the other state, you don't get your licensure by endorsement, eventually that state's going to find out. And the longer you practice without that license, the worse off it's going to be for when they do find out. So even if you made an honest mistake, you want to go ahead and do your licensure by endorsement whenever you realize like, oops, I should have done this like 2, 3, 4 months ago. I didn't do it. I'm doing it now, because you will collect some sort of grace from your nursing entity. And like I said before, eventually they're going to find out. So you might as well go ahead and do some damage control and mitigation and go ahead and do that licensure by endorsement, even if it's past that 60-day window, because you could help alleviate some sort of penalty further on down the road. So one of the conundrums that our clients have had over the years, you're leaving one state and going to the other. You have to notify the state where you're leaving and update your residency with that state. Let's say you're moving from South Carolina to North Carolina. You notify the South Carolina Board of Nursing that your new address is in North Carolina. As soon as they see that, they're going to drop as a licensee there. And during that time, you're in the process of applying for licensure by endorsement in North Carolina. If you notify South Carolina right away and you don't get that licensure by endorsement like that, or within the 60 days, then you could be practicing without a license. So you want to be very careful and you want to get your timing, because if you don't do it correctly, technically that is an ethics violation for practicing in a different state without a license. We've seen that happen with clients over the years where we've had people come out from the West Coast. They're in a compact state. They come to North Carolina, it's also a compact state, and they just make that assumption that I talked about earlier, and that assumption was incorrect. And they keep working here. Nobody at HR in their new hospital, for example, had noticed or even really paid much of attention of checking the license, and they've worked for 6, 7, 8 months, sometimes a little bit longer. The worst thing to do is to just ignore it and hope the problem goes away, because eventually the Board of Nursing, especially in North Carolina, is going to find out about it. And the longer you're working in this state without a license, the worse the penalty is most likely going to be. So even if you worked here 4, 5, 6 months, 8 months, whatever the case may be, and you're not properly licensed by endorsement here, you want to go ahead and rectify that as soon as you find out about it, because the possibility of getting a lighter to no penalty is going to be higher if you affirmatively go and try to correct that versus retroactively trying to fix it after a board finds out. Okay. So honesty truly is the best policy. You want to rectify any minor indiscretions as quickly as you possibly can and get that license by endorsement very, very quickly. Okay. Thanks for checking out the video. I'm going to put a website in the description that's going to be for the licensure compact. So you'll be able to check out information yourself and see who's part of the licensure compact, who is not, and get some more information directly from the source right there. So I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.